Hey everybody, Woj here, VP of Product Marketing at Vectra AI. Welcome to the Hunt Club podcast. I'm going to post this as a Cyber Minds podcast. Last week, I laid down a challenge to a bunch of people inside the organization. Can you give our story, our point of view, some would call it a pitch, in 5 minutes or less? Get creative. How do you start conversations with security professionals? How do you kind of talk about who we are and what we do and the value that we provide? Can you do that in 5 minutes or less? So I laid down the challenge and I'm like, well, heck, I might as well throw myself into the ring and see if I can do it. And what better way than to record it live and put it out there on the podcast to get your feedback and comments and perspectives on it. We're constantly trying to continually improve, and tell a story that resonates with security buyers. So I'm going to give it a whirl. Hopefully, I don't have a clock, but I'm going to try and do this thing in 5 minutes or less. Ideally, we could do it without training wheels, without slides, but I'm going to use slides kind of for visual context. So without further ado, let me give this a test. Modern networks, modern attacks, modern NDR platform. Now, we can all remember when the network was pretty well defined, right? Data center and campus, and you had Active Directory, and it was all well defined. But think about what's happened in the last 5 years, right? Workforce predominantly went remote, right? As the workforce went remote, what did we do? We invested a ton in SaaS applications. We wanted to keep employees productive, collaborative while working from home. Workloads began shifting to the cloud and cloud data centers. SASE exploded to help protect those cloud workloads and access to cloud workloads and applications. Cloud identity became the perimeter. OT and IT are converging. Those two networks are beginning to converge. In our perspective, this is the modern network. The modern network is this very dynamic, complex, multi-domain world in which we live in. Now, conventional wisdom would say, hey, I have EDR. I can protect access to this network. And we contend that, well, EDR, it can't be everywhere. Attackers know EDR is there. It's kind of a known defense. So ideally, they're going to try and bypass it and figure out ways to bypass that. So you think about the notion of the modern network being this multi-domain world. Well, modern attacks love modern networks, right? They figure out ways to bypass EDR, and they see this as one giant hybrid attack surface, right? More and more often, modern attacks are identity-based. Right? Once they get in and infiltrate the network, they can move laterally in 48 minutes, according to our friends at CrowdStrike. Once they begin to move laterally, if you look at IBM's data on the cost of a data breach, 40% of successful breaches involved multiple domains. So this is the notion of the modern network, and the modern attack, one giant network that attackers go after. Well, that's where we come in. Our role, our job, is to protect the modern network from modern attacks. And we do it in a very simplistic way. We think about it through our 3 C's: coverage, clarity, and control. To protect the modern network, fundamentally, you got to have coverage. You got to have visibility across all of these domains and what's happening within and across these domains. You've got to have clarity, signal clarity. You cannot flood the SOC with a ton of alerts. You've got to give them super accurate integrated signal. And with that accurate integrated signal, that human being, that SOC analyst, can take control of that attack, can do investigation, response, reporting, it's incident response, forensic detail, et cetera, et cetera. Now, when you invest in Vectra, what customers get is visibility across with coverage and clarity and control. They get visibility across all their identities, network, and cloud, whether it's data center, campuses, remote locations, Microsoft 365, Copilot for 365. You're getting complete visibility that's happening across those environments. We're applying AI detections, over 170 domain-specific detections to those domains. to identify what attackers are doing. We then deploy our agents in the background, triaging those detections, stitching things together, then prioritizing around an entity, a host or account. We're feeding you rich metadata on each one of those detections and those entities so that you can, and displaying it in attack graphs, giving you the opportunity to do advanced search and dig into forensic details around the attack, enabling the analyst to take a very targeted response, whether that response is an action that's taken natively in our product, whether it's integrated through a playbook or through an automation orchestration platform, or whether it is automated through another technology, EDR, firewall, whatever it might be. In the end, reporting out the efficiency gains, the risk profile, the maturity, posture in a customized way for the CISO, for the SOC leader, for security analyst. This is what we give, and I'm a gives and gets kind of person. So what do customers get from this? From what we've seen is, and this is a study done by IDC, talking to our customers, you're going to reduce your exposure to modern attacks, multi-domain. You're going to be able to identify 52% more threats and 37% less time. We're going to remove latency from your processes and workflows with integrated accurate signal, less tuning, less time triaging and prioritizing alerts, ultimately maximizing the talent you have in-house today. They can stop attacks earlier and faster. They spend 50% less time investigating and achieve 40% greater SOC efficiency. What do you do with 40% greater SOC efficiency? You improve posture, you develop threat hunting programs, any number of things that you could do. And what we've seen customers experience with Vectra AI is a 391% ROI over a 6-month payback period. So protecting the modern network from the modern attack, that's what we do. We'd love to help you ascertain, assess where and how we can help you. So let's set up a time to talk further about this. Stop. See, I didn't do it in 5 minutes. I talk too much. That's my problem. I keep fine tuning. I'm going to make it crisper. I'm going to try and get it down to no smooth, rattle it off. Practice, what's wrong with practice? But hey, I could use your feedback. Thanks, everybody. We'll get better and better at it, and we'll share some of the entries from the competition we're having on delivering the Vectra pitch with all of you on the podcast. So with that, I'm Woj. Thanks, everybody.